You know, being a nice guy sucks sometimes. Yup, some guys had the luck and love lives. Much I don't ask for, just sunshine. And some guys in the sky, up sunrise. Living in the shadow of the swagger, gotta knock her out and drag her back. Caveman, Ray Rice style, they attracted that. Did you capture that? Can't see it, Jack. Play nice now.
Good morning, good morning. Hello, everybody. If you are out there, it is me, it is Ladyblue, and I am coming to you today live on WMSKOnlineRadio.com, where talk radio just got better. And y'all need to hit me up and give me some inspiration today. I could use some inspiration today. If you are out there, you know my Instagram, you know where I'm at. So please, by all means, hit me up today. Let's just start by saying I am expecting my special guest today, and that would be the one and only Joe May. Joe, if you're out there and you're listening, we're still waiting for you. Come on in. I know parking is horrendous outside, but come on in, get with us. We are waiting for you and cannot wait to speak with you. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, that I do want to bring to light today is the fact that so much has happened within the last 24 hours. And in those 24 hours, it has been killings, shootings, murders, attempted abductions, just a number of anything that you could possibly think of is going on, not only in our backyard, but across the nation and around the world. Today, I will touch a little bit on a couple of the subjects, but as my platform and my motto states, I'm bringing the positive to you, so we will not focus on the negative today. What I would like to do is please take a moment of silence for the young man in Minneapolis that was shot during a traffic stop, and also for Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge. I cannot begin to imagine what those families are going through, so please, ladies and gentlemen, a moment of silence for both of those families. All right. As we come back, ladies and gentlemen, let's get focusing on the positive, shall we? We have got a number of things around the world that are going on that are positive, and there's some strange things that have been going on. Yes, I will say that. I will say, though, ladies and gentlemen, I stayed away from my Facebook feed yesterday because of the over and over replay of the videos from yesterday. It was very hard to be on Facebook yesterday. I'm not a political person. I have my opinions. I have my views. I am registered to vote. So therefore, I know that my voice or my vote does count. And I am also a person that was not raised in prejudice and was not raised in hate. And we really need to look at the situation. If you have seen the video that was posted by a female police officer, that video spoke volumes, and I did post it on my the Real Ladyblue One Facebook page. And she spoke. She had two things against her. One, she was a female, and two, she was an African American female. She spoke loudly about being a police officer, a woman who chose to make a difference by putting on that uniform. And the other thing that she spoke about was the fact that she was disgusted by anyone who either stood with her or has stood anywhere in front of a mayor, governor, superintendent, whatever it may be, and raised their hand and swore that oath to serve and protect, and they're walking around with a God complex. She implored whoever it is to rethink, and if their feeling or their view was not of that, of the badge or the uniform, to take it off. I have to say I agree with her. If you are not taking the oath seriously, if you have joined law enforcement to serve some personal agenda that is not to keep your community safe, take the uniform off. If you have a God complex and figure that the badge makes you the be-all, end-all, just remember you have someone that you have to answer to. Okay? And it may not be any of us that are here on earth, but you will have someone to answer to. I'm not going to stand here and I'm not going to say this side was more right and this side was more wrong. What I am imploring is to the conscience of those who feel that they are out there doing something that is right because they hold a gun in their hand. Stop it. This is the opinion of this girl. This does not reflect the opinion of this station, WMSK, its owners, or any of its partners. I am giving you my personal opinion as a, one, African-American female, two, a female, period, and three, a mother of three African-American boys. Or I should say young men. I'm not going to say boys, I'm going to say young men. Stop it. The gun does not resolve your issue. If you cannot talk about it, if you cannot sit down and speak about it, if you feel that your sidewalk is more important than somebody else's sidewalk, just remember you did not lay that sidewalk, somebody else did. Someone else fought, died, stood up so that you can stand where you are today. Get your education. As was stated, the thing most feared is an intelligent black man. That is something to be feared. That is something to be revered. That is something to be cherished. I myself as a mother am raising 3 strong black young men. The men that I know have raised strong black men. Please, 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 put the weapons down. If you know of a store that is selling these fake guns with the orange tip and thinking that that's going to stop the madness that is going on right now and it's okay to play with a plastic gun, I implore you to rethink. Do not put that in the hands of your child. Do not tell them it's just a toy, nothing's going to happen to you. Think about your situation before you put you or your child into it. Our children are our future, and right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are wiping out our future left and right because we refuse to stand for each other, support each other, work with each other, and be our brother or our sister's keeper. We need to stop. We can talk about it, but how many of us are being about it? How many of us are not afraid to say, I'm not going to put up with that anymore? How many of us are not afraid to say, not my child? How many of us are not afraid to say, I'm the parent, you're the child? That's how this hierarchy goes. So please, ladies and gentlemen, do what you got to do to raise your children in a safe environment. I know we live in a crazy world, and the Bible is pretty much fulfilling its own prophecy right now, but we have got to stop tearing down each other and start lifting up each other. I'm going to leave that alone. It's just hard to really deal with that. But let's focus on the positive here for a little bit. And that positive that I'm going to focus on really quick is that of, how many of you all know about an 80-year-old female bodybuilder? That's right, I said 80, okay? Her name is Miss Ernestine Shepard. And Ernestine Shepard at 80 years old is the oldest living female bodybuilder in the United States. And her story is one that you really, really should go and read, because this was a woman who, with her sister, her sister came to her and said, you know what, we need to get to losing weight. We're getting, you know, kind of, you know, bumpy in places I don't want to get bumpy in. And this was at 50 years old. They made the determination to go out there and get healthy. Her sister took ill. At this point, I don't remember the disease that took her, but she passed away, and it troubled Ernestine, and she kind of fell to the wayside with it. And then she had a dream, and her sister came to her in a dream and told her, you know, could you please go finish doing what I told you to do? And that was when Ernestine got back in the gym and became this bodybuilding figure that she is now. Y'all should go see a picture of Ernestine. Ernestine is absolutely gorgeous. Her skin is flawless, and she has, at 80 years old, has a physique that most 20-year-olds would die for. Okay? She's got a gorgeous smile. She looks at least a good 7 to 10 years younger than she actually is. And this is how she starts her day. She begins her day at 3 a.m. Okay? Most of us are still kicked back snoring at that time. She starts with scripture and prayer, and then she does a marathon run for 10 miles before going to the gym to lift weights. Okay? Most often she will run and or walk by herself or with a group of followers that are following behind her. And right here in Baltimore's Druid Park. So that right there is, you know, phenomenal in itself. She's right here. Not only is she the wife and the mother, not only is the wife and mother interested in maintaining her own health, but is also a certified personal trainer at a gym at her home, near her home in Maryland. So her diet, let's talk about food, because some of us can put down some food, but her diet basically consists of brown rice, bland chicken, vegetables, a glass of raw egg whites, okay? And she has maintained this and kept this ever since that dream. Her sister came to her in a dream. So there is no reason that any of us should not be out there doing our thing in the health realm. She's 80 years old and is at it. And what does that say about those of us who are 20 or 30 or 40? She started at 50. So that right there is just phenomenal in itself. Hats off to you, Ernestine, for being the youngest looking 80-year-old female bodybuilder that lives right here in Charm City. Thank you, Ernestine. Now on to another interesting story that I found in walking across social media. In Phoenix, Arizona, there was a young 6-year-old who had was assigned a community service project in her kindergarten class. And this 6-year-old decided that she would open a free library, like a book exchange. So she worked with her mom to get it put together, and it was placed out in the front yard of their home so that anybody who felt that they wanted to pick up a book, wanted to read something, or could, you know, drop off a book, there was a place for them to do that. Well, somebody took it. They took the entire book exchange. The mom woke up the next morning and the book exchange box was gone. The free library was gone. The mom was devastated. I think I'd be devastated too. This was a 6-year-old who decided to do something positive for her community, and somebody else decided that it wasn't for her to do, or just decided it should belong to them and not her. If you're in Arizona and you're listening to this, put it back. I commend and applaud this 6-year-old, for doing something that you probably most adults wouldn't even come to thinking about. She wanted to help her community. And if you know someone or can get in touch with this mom in Arizona or someone in Phoenix, let's help this 6-year-old out and get her book exchange back, because it was a beautiful little blue box that had 2 shelves in it. It was full of books for anybody that wanted a book. And we all know When you read a book, you open the TV in your mind. So let's see if we can get this 6-year-old her book exchange back. Another story that I found so cute was a mom in Australia. We all know that sometimes it's very hard to get our little ones to eat their fruits and vegetables, especially when it looks like broccoli, tastes like Brussels sprouts, and feels like avocado. Okay, that's the best way to put it. It's very hard to get them to understand that it's good for them. When you say that to a 3-year-old, they know pretty well you're trying to shove something down their throat that they don't want. So this mom in Australia figured out a way to get her 3-year-old to eat the foods that he would not otherwise eat if she just put them on the plate. So what she did is she started creating characters that he loved, that he saw on TV or in movies, and she would create them on the plate. And this somehow clicked in this little boy's mind to eat this because this was his favorite character. So if his favorite character was shaped in this, it had to be something good. So she was putting everything on the plate, from Kermit the Frog to the octopus from Finding Dory to the Mad Hatter that was portrayed by Johnny Depp in Alice in Wonderland. She was coming up with some very ingenious ways to get her 3-year-old to eat his fruits and vegetables. And that, I thought, was the cutest thing. If you have a chance, go and find it. Her Kermit the Frog is spot on. And her rendition of the Mad Hatter, wow. Okay, and you're just talking a combination of fruits and vegetables that I would never have looked at my fruits and vegetables that way. So moms, if you're having a problem getting your 3-year-old or your 2-year-old or your 6-year-old to eat their fruits and vegetables, there's an idea for you. If you don't have an artistic bone in your body, just wing it, okay? Wing it and find the best way that you can to get those fruits and vegetables into your children. And speaking of good eating, ladies and gentlemen, lately, I don't know if anybody's noticed or if you've taken the time to notice the fact that a lot of the stuff that we go out and sit down and eat lately, have you noticed the size of the plate that your food is being served on? And I'm not saying go and measure your plate the next time you go out. Please, by all means, go out and enjoy yourself. I'm not telling you to stop eating. That is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is to look at the size of the platter. The size of the plate is basically the size of a serving platter. Okay? You could fit 1 or 2 dozen deviled eggs on the size of these plates that are being put out. And most of these plates are considered to be presentation plates. A lot of the food that is put on there is more than you should be eating, which is why obesity is becoming such an issue in America today. When you're eating almost 2 to 3 cups of rice when basically all you need is a 1/4 cup of rice, or you're eating 72 ounces of steak when basically all you need is enough protein to fit in the palm of your hand. I love the cooking channels. I love watching the Travel Channel and seeing all these gastric masterpieces that are put out there. But when you watch these shows, look at what's going on. Okay, they're not cooking for one person. They're coming out with these gunboat-sized platters of food and expecting one person to sit down and eat that in some kind of challenge. No one is meant to eat all of that, ladies and gentlemen. If you can eat all that, more power to you. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying don't eat. What I'm saying is take a little more time to look at what you're eating, how it's prepared. Don't be afraid to ask what's in it. Okay? Half that platter when you go in. Nobody said that you had to sit right there and eat an entire, oh my gosh, platter of food. You can split that and have part of that for lunch the next day. Or if you go in for lunch, split that and order the dinner portion, split it, and have the other half for dinner. There's ways to do this so that we can start to conquer obesity in America today. And looking at the statistics of things that are happening to black men and women in terms of heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, just things that really should not be happening. Up your fruits and vegetables. Make at least half of your plate a color bonanza of vegetables, okay, in different colors. Get your dark leafy greens in, okay. Meat, your protein should be no more than you can fit in your hand, and everybody's hand size is different, so therefore whatever you fit in that hand, that's what you should be eating, okay. And it takes a little time and a little bit of patience to learn that when you're at home and you're cooking, measuring, and after a while it becomes secondhand. You don't even think about it anymore. So go out there, enjoy your food. You know what, if you want a piece of chocolate cake, go out there and have a piece of chocolate cake. Just don't eat the whole chocolate cake. That's basically what it means. Don't eat the whole chocolate cake. Have you a nice slice, get your chocolate fix in, and then leave it alone, okay? The only temptation is in your mind. That cake is not jumping up and saying, eat me, eat me. It is not flashing a neon sign. It is not waving a flag. It is not saying, please come here. You know you want this. That is your mind playing with you. The sync between your brain and your stomach is amazing. And when you learn how to, when you're chewing food, when you're swallowing food, and not to eat like you're, you know, getting ready to run the 100-yard dash, or you're in a mad dash to get somewhere, that's when it's easier to enjoy your food, make sure that you're full, and your brain will then join into the, okay, I'm satiated pool, okay? So I'm not gonna keep going on food, but next time you go out to a restaurant, yes, enjoy yourself. Get what it is that you want to get. Do not be shamed into not getting what you want to get. But you should take the time to try not to eat that entire platter. You'll be surprised. And the other thing I want to talk about before we even go anywhere is I was also on, I'm going to hop from subject to subject here, ladies and gentlemen, so just bear with me. I was reading about a photo, a single photo of one Mexican man who apparently has died 3 times in separate events, okay? And the events would be the Egypt Air event, the Orlando nightclub shooting, and the Turkey bombing. The Turkey bombing that happened not too long ago, okay? After reading this story and finding out, this man's picture was apparently chosen as part of a hoax. Okay, somebody thought it would be funny to just put this man's picture in every major catastrophe that was happening, okay, and create an elaborate hoax. And you know, the FBI got involved in this, and it was a very big to-do. But the point being is that one man died in 3 separate incidents spanning over a course of months and years. And you know, when you are dealing with stuff that's on the media, when you are dealing with items that you see on social media, don't take it for what it is. Don't just repost it. Don't just hit share just because it's there. Research. And yes, I'm not gonna sit up here and be no angel. I've reposted things that I had 0 clue. Now I go back and I look. I check the date, I look at everything before I even share it, because you'd be surprised how right now Facebook is reposting old stuff from like 2010, 2013, and putting it out there like it just happened yesterday. There's plenty of news going on right now. For them to have to delve back to 2010 is kind of ridiculous. So watch what you repost, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure that you have your facts straight. Another thing that I want to touch on before we go to break is child discipline. If you've been keeping up with the news, there's been several stories of parents that have been arrested for disciplining their children. You had the mother in Louisiana who caught her boys stealing from her neighbor's home. So she did what any mother would do. She chose to make sure her children understood she was not going to put up with that. And she was arrested because one of the boys apparently said that she hit them with an extension cord. Okay. Then you had a grandmother who was picked up and put in jail for disciplining her 12-year-old granddaughter with a switch. Okay, I'm going to touch on each of these stories. And then you had another Louisiana parent who apparently got mad because chicken was left out on the counter, and he chose to discipline his 3 children regarding that, and he got put in jail. Now, going back to the first story, the mother caught her children stealing from a neighbor's house. As a parent, what would you do? My children would know, oh no, we're going to make sure you understand that that is not for you to do. They work for that stuff, they earn that stuff. You have no right to go in there and take it. Okay? It might be a Medea situation if any of you have seen, you know, I Can Do Bad All By Myself. Somebody would be going to start doing some housework and whatnot to make sure that all of that is paid for. Okay? And yes, they would get their butt tan. That's just, you know, that backside would feel a little mama's wrath. Okay? Now, the grandma who disciplined her 12-year-old with a switch. I don't know about any of y'all, but when I was growing up, we had to go outside and pick our switch if we got in trouble. Grandma wasn't going outside to pick the switch. We had to go pick it, and don't dare come back in that house with nothing frail or fragile. Okay? That 12-year-old called 911. Next thing you know, the grandma's in jail, and there's no news on what's happening with the 12-year-old. Now, if the 12-year-old, me as a parent, okay, she wants to play like that, go put her in juvie. Okay? Let her have a week or so of dealing with that. And I bet your grandma will look good 24 hours in. I will bet nickels and dimes on that. Now, as for the father who disciplined his children regarding the chicken left on the counter, I really don't know what to say about that, because you have to read that story. There's little intricacies in that story. Something that happened with the 3-year-old that garnered medical care. I don't know the status of the father at this point in time. But, you know, we live in a day and age right now where children have more rights than the parents. The only right the parent has is the fact that, okay, mom gave birth and dad's name happens to be on the birth certificate. That's basically where your rights end in today's society. Okay, for those of us that are old school, we knew where our place was. We knew when to speak. We knew not to speak out of turn. We knew we were children and they were adults. That's just it, point blank. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay? So, today, kids can divorce their parents. Kids can emancipate themselves. Kids can do... Now, I'm not saying that there's... You know, each situation garners a different light. Okay? If it's an abusive situation, if it's an ongoing abusive situation, there's different things that garner different outcome. But if you're a parent, single parent or a 2-parent household, and you want to ensure your child's future, I survived butt whoopings. I'm 50 years old. I survived going to get my own switch. I survived standing in a corner. I survived all of that. Today's millennials have a problem with that. And to me, that's what's wrong with them. There's no control. They're crying out for control and discipline. And I'm not saying running a concentration camp, okay? What I'm saying is they need guidance. Timeout ain't working. Giving them an electronic to shut them up, not working. Buying them the latest clothes that cost more than your rent, not working. The parent-child line has to be reestablished. That is what's wrong right now. We have lost the parent-child line. Parents want to be friends instead of parents. Children are out there telling their parents what to do, their grandparents what to do. No. The grandparent and the parent, they've been through what you've been through. Listen, young people. Your parents and your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, even your older cousins, they have been through what you haven't been through. And their purpose or their job or their what it is they've been given to do, if you have any type of relationship, is to make sure that you don't step in the same hole. Now, mind you, we cannot prevent everybody from stepping in a hole. There's just no way. But we will make every conscious effort to make sure that you don't end up on somebody's morgue table or in somebody's funeral home. That is what I'm saying. So if grandma tells you to come inside and do your chores, don't give her the evil eye and don't suck your teeth and don't give her last week's excuse. Get up, get in the house, do what you got to do. It's like I tell my children, take care of what you need to take care of, then you can go enjoy what it is that you want to do. Chores, get your homework out of the way, do the things that need to be done to secure your home so that you have a pleasant place to live. Then you can go and enjoy playing outside. And that's another subject that I'm going to touch on in the next part of the show, about letting children be children, because too many children are being adults at a young age. But back to what I was saying in terms of discipline. Young people, your parents are your parents for a reason. You were given to your parents to take care of for a reason. Your parents did not go through a catalog and say, give me this one, okay? They had no idea what you were going to look like. They had no idea how you were going to come out. You did not come with an instruction book. You did not come with how to assemble or what not to do, okay? We learn as we go. Those of us who have more than one kid, we learn as we go. So by the time we get to the second, third, or fourth kid, or if you have more than that, we know what's not going to happen in our house. Okay? And that's just the way that is. And please understand, we are not being mean. We are not being cruel or unintentional. We want to make sure that you live to see your 20th, your 21st, your 30th, so on and so forth. And that little voice inside you, your sixth sense, your spirit, whatever it is you're calling it, your conscious, will speak loudly enough to you if you get in a situation you don't recognize, and that you will adhere to it. That's what's important to us. So, ladies and gentlemen, this parent, better known as Ladyblue of the Ladyblue Radio Show, we will be right back and touch in on children as little adults. You know, when are children going to be allowed to be children anymore? So, ladies and gentlemen, again, this is Ladyblue of the Ladyblue Radio Show, live right here on WMSKOnlineradio.com, where talk radio just got better. And I am back. Hello, everybody. This is your girl, Ladyblue, your fave blogger, live on WMSKOnlineradio.com, where talk radio just got better. And I am coming back to you to talk about a couple of things that are coming up. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is, August 6th is coming up. August 6th is like around the corner. But WMSK Online Radio presents a crab feast and concert event coming up August 6th at Martin's Crosswinds in Greenbelt, Maryland. This is going to be a birthday celebration for Miss Connoisseur herself, Tia Hamilton. So come on out with her. I don't know how many seats are left available, but you need to call and you need to find out. It's all you can eat crab, all you can eat, okay? For all you seafood lovers out there, all you can eat crab feast. If you're doing the drive on your own, the inclusions are the 4-hour premium bar, the live DJ. The event is from 7 to 11 p.m. The live concert will be featuring comedian TK Kirkland, Dougie Fresh, and MC Light. So get on board, find out what's going on. If you need more information, you can call 443-814-1337. Find out more about the all-you-can-eat crab feast and the birthday celebration for Miss Connoisseur Tia Hamilton, hosted by WMSKOnlineradio.com, where talk radio just got better. And In a little while, I'm going to tell you about another event that we got coming up that is huge, but we're gonna jump into something else. I had mentioned before I left earlier about children who are becoming little grown adults, like really, really quick. Excuse me. And it amazes me when I'm riding MTA, which is the Metro bus for those of you who are not here in Baltimore. The Metro bus, and how many of these little kids act like grown adults. It is amazing what they do out of the eyesight of a true adult, okay? And they will speak to you any which way. They will dare you any which way. They think they can, pretty much, get froggy and jump up against you any which way, okay? And I've listened to conversations on the bus from some of these people. I listened to conversations of 3 young people who just graduated. This was about a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago. They just graduated, just went through the ceremony. Everything was great. They got on the light rail talking about a fight that ensued after graduation. And this young man still had the blood on him from the fight, and was talking about how hard he kicked and who he kicked and where he kicked them and what they had to say. And the other young person, who at first I could not tell was a young lady, okay? And the only reason I say that is, 1, she was dressed just like her friends, and then 2, her hair was everywhere. There was no semblance to her hair. There was no baseball cap, there was no cap, there was no nothing. Her hair was just everywhere. And she talked about 2 other people that got in a fight because so-and-so didn't want so-and-so to be with that other person. So everybody on the biggest day of their life got into a fight, okay? When they were asked to calm the situation down, the looks, the attitude, the curse words, all of that came out of these just brand new, fresh, free from high school people. And it shocked me. And in a sense, you say, well, why did it shock you? It shouldn't shock you. This is Baltimore. This is what they did. No. It makes you question what's going on at home. What do they feel that they have the right, or where do they feel they have the right to come out and act like that just because they're out of school? I've seen people get on the bus, and there's one little girl, I will never forget this. Her grandma they just came from the thrift store. And this little girl grandma was trying to hold on to the bags. They had picked up a good amount of stuff. And every time something fell on the floor, this little girl would reprimand her grandma and tell her, why don't you hold on to these things? That's what they're in a bag for. And she just went on and on talking about, I can't believe you don't do anything right, and we just went to the store and you're embarrassing me on the bus. And one lady finally looked at this little girl, and she literally put her hand on her shoulder, sat her down, and said, that is your grandmother. How dare you? And the little girl kind of looked at her and was getting ready to say something, and the lady said, don't you dare speak to me. She said, in this case, I'm the adult. You gonna sit and listen. That is your grandmother. And your grandmother took you to the store. You didn't take your grandmother to the store. She bought these things for you. I don't see wallet word 1 in your hand. And she went on and on. Okay, and this little girl sitting there with her mouth open, and the grandma, didn't speak a lick of English. That was the trick right there. And the lady looked at her and she says, you apologize to your grandmother. And the little girl said under her breath, Grandma doesn't speak any English. And she said, well, you say what you need to say to your grandmother in whatever language it is you need to say it, but you gonna say, I'm sorry to your grandmother. And another lady popped up and said, lo siento, tell her you're sorry. And the little girl, one, was surprised somebody else knew what sorry was in another language. And, she proceeded to tell her, that's your abuela, that's your grandmother. Speak to her in the respect that she deserves. Oh yes, that little child got off that bus with her head down, and grandma was holding her head high. She knew, even though she didn't understand a lick of English, she knew something just happened to calm that child down, and she was grateful. So, your grandparents, your parents, they're not your, for lack of a better word, whipping boy. Young people, you are the child. If you're 9, 10, 11, 12, and you're coming out your mouth sideways, trust me, you would not have survived in my day. Your lips would, you'd be picking up your lips every day off the floor. And you would have gone the gauntlet of relatives and neighbors before you hit the parents, and you would not have lasted that long. You would just be anything before I get to mom and dad. I've said this time and time again on this show, and I'm going to say it again. Know your place. Speak when spoken to. Don't come out your mouth with your opinion in an adult conversation, because that's not your place. When you are spoken to, you speak. If you are given room to talk, then you talk. But just because you saw it on TV does not make you the know-all of everything that is going on. And yes, we have all, whether you choose to believe it or not, we have all been your age at one time. So we know the struggle. We know the heartache. We know the parents just don't understand. We know that. Okay? We've sung the chant. Okay? You don't get me. You don't ever listen to me. You don't get where I'm coming from. What makes you think that we don't? We understand, and when we try to sit and talk with you and you refuse to talk to us, that's where the fight ensues. So stop bucking the system. Sit down, talk to your parents, be a family unit, get with each other, understand each other, talk, communicate. Communication is so huge right now because too many people are doing too many things under cloak and disguise. Stop it. Just stop it. But we're going to move on. We are going to move on. And I'm going to move on to a story that I thought was really, really exciting when I saw it. Everybody knows about the Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America, all of that. And if you saw the last movie series, you know that was huge. I just recently watched it, and it was interesting to see what happened between Captain America and Iron Man and so on and so forth. But anyway, now apparently it is being considered that Iron Man, after 50 years, Tony Stark, will take off the Iron Man uniform. He will step down from the role of Iron Man. And Iron Man will now be a female. And on top of that, a black female. That's right, it is in talks for Iron Man to become a black female by the name of Riri Williams, if I'm pronouncing that right. A black female who's, you know, from the hood, seen the tough times, seen things that probably nobody should ever see. Made her way to college, and she builds her own suit in her dorm room. That's the storyline that they're working with right now. Okay, so what do y'all think of a female Iron Man? And we can't say Iron Man anymore, so because there's not a man in that suit if they choose to go forward with this. I think it's interesting. The creator of the Avengers or movie series says that he was intrigued with the story and found it to be an intriguing story that he wanted to put on film. I think it's interesting that Marvel Comics wants to consider a black female for the role of Iron Man. And I don't know what you call Iron Girl, Iron Woman. It just sounds too long, but Iron Lady. Whatever it is that you're going to call her, I think it's kind of interesting that they want to place a female in that role. I mean, seriously, look at Iron Man, Iron Woman, Iron Girl. What are we gonna call her? That's my question. What are we going to call her? Because that suit's gonna be banging. It's not gonna be frumpy. It's gonna be form-fitting. It's gonna fit the shape of this girl. And you know what's interesting? If you've been watching TV, if you're like me, I have those series that I've watched. Women are coming to fruition, and they're coming to the helm in some of these shows. I'm going to say it, whether or not you've watched it or not. This girl watches Game of Thrones. And if you have watched all last 6 seasons and you saw the last season finale, the girls have stepped into the role. Okay? Khaleesi is up there, as well as... it's going to be fun. Next season, that's all I have to say. It is going to be fun because the women are at the helm, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this imaginative mind from this, from the book to the screen, how it's going to go with these two females going at it. You got one that owns 3 dragons, which she calls her babies, her children, and you got the other one whose prophecy is being played out in front of her eyes, and she's still moving on anyway. Okay. She had all her children gone, and now, okay. Anyway, for all you Game of Throners out there, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. And a couple of other series that I watch. I watch Ray Donovan, love Ray Donovan. That just came back on. Are there any Banshee fans out there? I am still going through Banshee withdrawal. I don't know about y'all, but I love me some Banshee. I called myself watching Penny Dreadful for the last couple of days. Interesting. I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody because I'm not that kind of person, but if you watch any of these shows, then you know what I'm talking about. These shows, they get you. They bring you in. It shows you the imagination of some folks, and trust me, there's some serious imaginations out there. Moving on, another positive story, since I'm focusing on positive right now. Another positive story that I found on Yahoo News was about a 6-year-old girl who found an Olympic gold medal in a pile of trash while she was walking in Atlanta with her father. Okay? And it came to be that this medal was stolen from former slalom canoeist Joe Jacoby, who won it in 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona. Somebody broke into his car and took it out of his car. Apparently this young lady, her name is Chloe Smith, she spotted the medal in the shrubs not too long ago, June 17th. And her mother says she's always picking up stuff and finding things, and her and her dad always want to bring this stuff home, and she thought that the medal was junk. But her dad knew exactly what it was. Okay, so they reached out, they had confirmation about the medal, and the medal was returned. Apparently, Joe Jacoby rewarded her with $500 and a promise to visit her class in the fall. And I thank you, little Chloe, for finding that item and bringing that item back to Mr. Jacoby. I'm sure he was ecstatic to have it back. And on another instance, ladies and gentlemen, I know everybody watches the news. I'm not going to say that you don't. David and Tamala Mann just experienced that same kind of experience down in Georgia. They stopped at the Red Lobster to get something to eat, and no sooner did they put their behinds in the booth that somebody came running up saying somebody's breaking into your car. They took everything belonging to David Mann. They took his wallet, his credit cards, ID, all of that, brand new computer. They took her jewelry. They saw the car. Apparently they saw that it was occupied 3 times, and there was a child in the back seat, and that it was a black Kia Optima, if I remember correctly. And pretty much it left them stranded. They didn't want to eat. They went home. They were disgusted, and you know what? I was disgusted too, because really, you didn't earn it. You didn't make that, and this was your easy street. What are you gonna do with all of that? Somebody somewhere knows what happened. They see this stuff. The pawn shops have been made aware, the police report, all this good stuff. But these are 2 hardworking individuals that just wanted to take a break from being celebrities for a minute and just be husband and wife and enjoy a good dinner between themselves and maybe a couple other people and move on. Okay, so ATL, those that are in Georgia, any of you that may know anything about the items that were taken from David and Tamala Mann, you know, speak up, step up. Let's get that stuff back to the Manns. They deserve it. I mean, these are two individuals that have kept us in song. David Mann is funny. He is also a very well-versed individual. He's an educated black man. Remember what I said. He's an educated black man. He needs his high blood pressure medicine. That's the other thing they took, is his high blood pressure medicine. What you gonna do with that? I have not the slightest clue, but they took it. And it's just amazing, is basically what my point is, that, you know, you could stoop to that level to take something that doesn't belong to you and, you know, run with it. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, that I do want to bring up also is that we experience a lot of robbery and break-in, and when I say we, in your community, there may be a lot of theft or break-ins or carjackings or things like that. Be vigilant in your neighborhood. There's nothing wrong with being vigilant in your neighborhood. You can always, in my opinion, and I mean, even where I live, I know my next door neighbors. I know who they are. We speak. We're not strangers. Keep an eye out for your neighbor. No harm in it. Keep an eye out for your neighbor. Help your neighbor out. Especially if you know you have elderly neighbors and you're going to the store. Knock on the door, offer to go to the store, offer to pick up some items for them. Let them know that you're out there and that you care and that you're willing to help where help is needed. Another thing, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to keep an eye on our kids. A lot of this has been geared towards the youth. We need to keep an eye on our kids, ladies and gentlemen. There was a story about a man who basically reached inside the store door and yanked this 4-year-old girl out of the store. We need to keep a better eye on our children. Ladies and gentlemen, moms especially, if you cannot put your hand on your child, there's a guarantee somebody's watching that child and will snatch them. It's just a guarantee, okay? Keep your children within eyesight. Keep them around you. Let them know, do not run, do not jump, do not play, do not swing, do not pass, do not go anywhere that I cannot put my hands on you. And if they don't understand that, guess what? Stop whatever it is you're doing, get up, pick them up, and leave wherever you're at, because obviously they don't understand that being with you is the safest place to be. I gave my children what I call the mall talk. My 2 oldest children, they will tell you, the mall talk. First time I had been to the store with both of my 3-year-old and my 2-year-old in tow. This was some time ago. And I turned around in the parking lot of the store and I looked square at them and I said, if you jump, run, hide, swing, knock down something, stash, scream, I want, I gotta have, mommy will you, mommy can I ran down the list. We will get up and we will leave. And it's the same thing when we would go out to eat. If you start acting like, you know, you in a what do you call those things, a bouncy house, you don't sit still, you start talking about, I want, mommy give me, you drink that, I don't want that, why did you order that, all this good stuff, we will leave. And it doesn't matter what I ordered. I did that one time with my children. And I guarantee you, one time was enough. The food was coming and we were walking out the door. And you've never seen such wide-eyed children in your life. But we are going to leave, come back, and just dive a little bit more into a few more other things. This is Lady Blue of the Ladyblue Radio Show, live on WMSK. onlineradio.com, where talk radio just got better. Hello, it's me, it's Lady Blue. I am back, and we're going to close out the show this way today. First of all, I want to mention the fact that we have the Curves Rock Weekend that is coming up. That's right, the Curves Rock Weekend is coming up, and that is July 20th through 24th here in Baltimore. You can get a whole lot of information from curvesrockweekend.com. This event is going to be hosted by Lonnie B. Those of you who do not know who Lonnie B is, if you know who your good girlfriends are, then you know who Lonnie B is. And he is a bundle of energy and that is going to host this event. There is a number of notable models and other speakers at this event, such as Tyra Hill, the Natural Fashionista, Alexandra Booz, Elsie Golden, Samantha Libri, Yashima As He Loves. So there's a lot of notable women who will be at this event. The likes of Denise Caldwell, Jasmine Bird, Cassandra McBride, Annette Jimenez, excuse me, just to name a few. So keep those dates, mark your calendars, July 20th through 24th here in Baltimore, and I believe it's the Camden Yards Marriott where it's going to be hosted, and WMSK Online Radio will be on hand for that one, so make sure you mark your calendars. Also, ladies and gentlemen, just to toot my own horn a little bit, Ladyblue has 2 books that are out. They were released on July 25th. The first one is Women on a Mission, and I was proud to be a co-author among the other women that were asked to contribute to this book. And it's basically a compilation of those of us who have gone through trials and tribulation and reached that finish line of triumph. So if you need some inspiration, if you need something that's going to uplift your spirits, please by all means check out my Facebook page, my website, where you can go and get the Kindle edition. It is currently available on Kindle. And make a purchase today to help support the positive mission. And as for the second book released by Ladyblue, that would be my poetry volume 1 called Vibe in Blue. And I was very excited to release this. My friends that have purchased this so far, they have enjoyed it. It's a little piece of me. I've been writing since high school. My father was my biggest critic and my editor, so I give him editing place for this book because he helped me to shape a lot of the words that were on there and my feelings. And my dad always believed in my creative side. So Dad, I love you. God rest your soul. And so make sure you go on Kindle and you find Vibe in Blue, available on Kindle for $4.99, and continue to support my positive mission. My goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to make sure that the positive is out there, the positive is given to you, and the positive is what you feel on a daily basis. So please, please, please make sure that you go out and you purchase those books and support the positive mission. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to mention is Ladyblue is all over Facebook, but we have a special event coming up later on this afternoon. So at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, mark your calendar, put it on your Google, do whatever you got to do. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ladyblue will be hosting a Google Hangout with Divinity Rocks. That's right, bass player Divinity Rocks will be my special guest on Google Hangout, and we are going to talk about her career, how she got into the music industry, the artists that she's performed with, and what her vision is for the future and some of the things going on around the country and around the world. So 4 p.m. Google Hangout, Ladyblue is hosting with special guest Divinity Rocks. Please be on hand for that one. It is going to be a fun time. Again, you can find me all over social media. And when I say all over social media, I mean all over social media, okay? I am on Facebook, I am on Twitter, I am on Instagram, I am on Google+, I am on Blastfy, I am on Tumblr, I am on Skype, Yahoo, LinkedIn, okay? If there's a social media to be had, I am on it. I am also on a site called Co-Promote, where a lot of the things that I have put out are being promoted by others on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Any of my interviews you will find on YouTube, my YouTube channel for Ladyblue, and they are going out. Black Folks Hotspots Network is another place that I am on, and it is a fabulous site, and just a lot going on there. Events, blogs, discussions, my personal page. I just redid my personal page, so it's something to look at. Of course, here every Thursday from 9 to 11 on WMSKOnlineRadio.com, where talk radio just got better. It can't get any better than this, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to apologize for our special guest not being here today. I'm sure that you all have enjoyed listening to me. And we always have something positive to talk about. And, you know, we keep the show rolling one way or the other. And I appreciate all of you, your support, your love, everything that's going on. With everything that's going on around the world, everything that's going on in Charm City, everything that's going on even in your homes. Make sure that you shed a little light and a little love in your homes, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let the outside influence what's going on inside your home. If it's going to influence it to make a positive change. That's where the influence should fall. But the one point of inspiration that I do want to give you all before I leave for the day is this. And I did post this on my Joy Does Come in the Morning page. That's another page that I have on Facebook. And before I get to my inspiration moment, you can find me on the Real Lady Blue one on Facebook. Joy Does Come in the Morning is an inspirational group that I host. The Lady Blue Radio Talk group is a place you can find me. And of course, my personal page. My Twitter handle, my Instagram handle, all my handles are Ladyblue1. That's LADYBLUU 1 on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and across the board. Ladies and gentlemen, my other Twitter handle is Always Motivate. That's ALWAYZ, Motivate, on Twitter. I just believe in doing it healthy and doing it the right way. I learn as I go, and I learn from others as I go, and I appreciate all y'all's support along the way. My inspirational thought for you all for today. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow's not promised. But today is right here. What are you going to do today? What difference are you going to make today? Are you going to smile at someone today? Are you going to hug someone today? Are you going to laugh with someone today? Are you going to feed someone today who, for all you know, didn't eat yesterday or the day before? How are you going to contribute in your neighborhood, in your society, in your section of the world or the community? Where are you going to make a difference? With everything that has been going on lately, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to stop talking about it and start being about it. We really, really need to start stepping up. We're letting fear dictate what it is we do on a daily basis. Remember, we are not made to fear, but we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We have been given the ability to step up and keep up. Reach out to those of us with a vocal platform. Make your own vocal platform. Reach out to those who have community organizations, nonprofit organizations, those who you know are acting for and uplifting the youth, or speaking out against domestic violence or other crimes, as myself, as a domestic violence survivor. Make sure to reach out to those. Don't just listen and say, like, share, okay, and put it across all social media. Do something more than press a button. It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Every life is on this earth for a purpose. Okay? We have a purpose in the kingdom, and we need to learn what that purpose is and how to fulfill it. And if that means that all you do is talk with somebody, that is your purpose. If your purpose is to draw, take pictures, art, create something, that is your purpose. If your purpose is to write, if your purpose is to speak, if your purpose is to sing, dance, whatever your purpose is, everyone has a purpose within the kingdom, and everyone should be fulfilling their purpose. Take time out to find out not only who you are or what you are, but what your purpose is. Once you figure out your purpose, everything else falls right into place, ladies and gentlemen. Believe me, I'm a product of that. When you don't believe in yourself, it's very hard for others to believe in you. I want to thank the people who gave me an opportunity. They didn't know me from Eve, but they gave me an opportunity, and I've taken that opportunity and I ran with it. I want to give thanks to Sabrina Williams of Chic and Sassy Entertainment. I want to give thanks to Darlene Dina of Must Be the Music. I want to give thanks to my friend Ernest Harris, E. Digga. I want to give thanks to him and his wonderful, lovely lady, Linnea Neal. I want to give thanks to all the Vanetta Chapman and Rep Your Grind. I want to give thanks to, there's so many. There's Baltimore Flavor, there's GGI Radio, there's Baltimore Sun, there's Poetless, there's Brian Lyrics. There's a number of people that I could give thanks to. Author Ebony with her book and her inspiration, her wonderful smile, and you know they've got a beautiful daughter that just arrived, and she is like the cat's meow. She loves my blanket. So a shout out to you all. And really quick, go out there, live out loud, ladies and gentlemen. Thank those who have bothered to lift you up and support you, and support them. This is Lady Blue of the Ladyblue Radio Show live on WMSKOnlineradio.com, where talk radio just got better. I love you all. Thank you. Be blessed. Have a fantastic day. Go out there and enjoy it all. And best all, remember, weeping may endure for a night, but joy, it does come in the morning. I'll see you later.
To motivate's the motivation. It's not the money, it's funny cause it's still motivating. Don't give the haters the cold shoulder, you motivate them to do better, cause maybe then they'll hold the hating. Don't just follow your dreams, man, you gotta chase them. Never follow your heart, man, it's not a racing. Don't wait for God to do the placement. You gotta set it up yourself before he puts his face in. See, if you take one step, he'll take two. And if you move forward, then he'll make moves. Joy comes in the morning, even at night too. So if you need motivation, better call Lady Blue.